All right, so you want to get a better handle on this whole automation thing. And, well, you sent over a pretty solid intro doc.
Yeah.
We dug through it, and we're ready to break down, like, the juiciest parts with you
Yeah.
and get this. There's even a matrix analogy in there.
There is, it's true. Tying automation to breaking the loop, escaping the daily grind
Right.
really catches your eye.
It does. I mean, who hasn't felt like bogged down by those same old tasks just eating up your day? But it's not just about saving time, right?
Yeah.
What really hit me was this idea that automation can free you up for the stuff that actually matters.
Absolutely. Like, imagine if you could just offload all those data entry nightmares, those reports that take forever.
Hmm.
What could you do with that extra time? You could be building those relationships with clients, coming up with killer ideas for your business, or even just taking a breather, avoiding that burnout.
It's almost like getting back a part of your day that was just lost to the boring stuff.
Yeah.
I remember when I first automated this monthly report I used to do. It used to take me like half a day.
Oh, wow.
Suddenly I had all this time to actually think strategically, work with my team, actually enjoy my work more.
Right. That's a perfect example of how automation can shift you from just reacting to things to actually being proactive.
Yeah.
It's not just about speed. It's about doing different things that use your human skills.
Totally. Okay, so the doc also lays out some key terms.
Right.
It does a decent job explaining them with real-world examples.
Yeah, those examples are super helpful for understanding those kind of abstract ideas.
Yeah.
Like APIs, for example, the doc compares them to waiters taking your order to the kitchen,
Right.
which makes it way easier to picture. But an API, it's more than just a messenger. It's how different apps actually talk to each other, share data, and work together smoothly.
That makes a lot of sense. So if an API is like the communication channel, then tokens are like the access keys. I like how you use that analogy of a VIP wristband for a concert.
Yeah, exactly. A token is basically a digital passcode that proves who you are and lets you into a system or an app. And to take that a step further, an authorization token is like having a backstage pass.
Oh, yeah.
It not only gets you in, but it also controls what you can access and what you can do.
Gotcha. Okay, so then there's this term prompt,
Right.
which seems especially relevant in the AI world these days.
Absolutely. With AI, you're basically having a conversation, Raylan.
Yeah.
You give the AI a prompt, which is your instruction or your question,
Oh.
and it responds based on what it's learned. And just like giving someone directions, the clearer and more specific your prompt is, the better the AI's response is going to be.
So the prompt is like the input that kickstarts the whole AI process.
Exactly. It's what gets the AI to do what you want.
The doc then talks about frameworks, comparing them to Lego instructions.
Right.
But I feel like that might be a little oversimplified.
You're right. A framework is more than just instructions.
Right.
Think of it as a foundation of pre-written code components and structures that developers use to build apps faster.
Right.
It's like having a prefab house frame instead of starting with each individual brick.
Okay, that's much clearer. So a framework provides a head start and helps make sure the development is consistent and follows best practices.
Exactly. It streamlines everything and lets developers focus on building those unique features instead of starting from scratch every single time.
Now let's move on to flow.
Okay.
It basically refers to a sequence of automated steps that happen one after the other, right?
Think of it like an assembly line.
Uh-huh.
Each step in the flow does its own thing, and they're all connected in a specific order to get that end result you're looking for.
Makes sense. But how do these flows actually get triggered in the first place? Is that where webhooks come in?
You got it.
The document used the example of a pizza delivery tracker, which I thought was brilliant.
It is a good one. Webhooks are basically real-time notifications that get sent out when something specific happens.
Yeah.
So in the pizza example, every time your order status changes from preparing to out for delivery to delivered, a webhook sends that info to the tracker app and you can follow along.
So it's like a direct line between different systems, allowing them to react to events as they happen live.
Precisely. Webhooks are crucial for those dynamic automated workflows that can adapt on the fly.
Okay. Last but not least, the document introduces low code and no code, which seem to be getting a lot of buzz lately.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
It's all about making automation accessible to more people,
Yeah.
even those without a ton of coding experience.
The document compares it to putting together IKEA furniture where you have those pre-built pieces that just snap together.
Right.
But I'm curious, what are the downsides? Can you really pull off complex automation with no code or low code tools?
That's a great question. While those no-code and low-code tools are fantastic for building simple automations and connecting different apps, they do have their limits. Relying solely on those pre-built blocks might hold you back from creating truly custom solutions or handling really complex logic. Think of it like building with Legos. You can create some amazing stuff, but you're limited by the types of bricks you have.
So there's a trade-off between ease of use and flexibility.
Exactly. No code and low code are all about speed and accessibility. But for those more complex automations that need custom code or intricate logic, you might need to dive into the world of traditional coding.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've covered the basics of the lingo. Let's explore the different types of automation tools out there.
Sounds good.
I'm interested to see how they cater to different levels of technical expertise.
Yeah, definitely.
So the document breaks these automation tools down into three main categories: no code, light code, and coding.
Yeah.
And I like how it makes it clear there's a solution for everyone, no matter how tech-savvy you are.
Definitely. Automation isn't just for developers anymore. With no-code tools, pretty much anyone can start automating simple tasks and workflows.
So it's like everyone can be a citizen developer now.
Right. No-code platforms like Zapier, VoiceFlow, even using Google Sheets for automation.
Oh, yes.
Those are great examples. They have those visual interfaces where you connect different apps and automate actions without needing to write any code.
Zapier seems like the go-to for connecting all sorts of web apps.
It is.
You could set it up so every time you get a new lead from your website, it automatically gets added to your CRM.
Exactly. And VoiceFlow is all about those conversational interfaces.
Right.
You could use it to make a chat bot for your website that answers FAQs or guides customers through a purchase.
And then Google Sheets. I use it all the time, but I never thought of it as an automation tool.
It's surprising how much you can automate with just Google Sheets. You can use the built-in functions and formulas to do calculations, manipulate data, even send out email notifications.
Wow, okay. I'm already learning a ton.
Yeah.
But let's move on to light code tools.
Sure.
I'm guessing these need some coding knowledge?
They do, but don't let that scare you away. Light code tools often use visual interfaces where you drag and drop stuff.
Right.
But you might have to tweak some basic code to customize things.
Yeah.
Think of it like assembling a piece of prefab furniture. You might need a screwdriver for some adjustments.
So it's like a step up from no code.
Exactly.
More flexibility and control, but still user-friendly.
Right.
The document mentions tools like Make, N8N, and Base Row.
Yeah.
What are the main differences between them?
So Make is great for building visually complex workflows.
Okay.
You can connect different apps, automate tasks, even throw in custom code snippets when you need to. It's known for its flexibility and a wide range of integrations.
And what about N8N? It seems like it's becoming a popular open source option.
It is. NEAN is gaining traction because it's self-hosted,
Right.
which means you have complete control over your data and privacy.
Oh.
It's also super customizable, so you can build automations that are tailored to your specific needs.
And then Base Row.
Yes.
Is that similar to Airtable?
It is. Base Row is another open source platform where you can create databases and build automations around them. It's like a more flexible and customizable spreadsheet
Interesting.
that lets you manage your data and workflows in a visual and intuitive way.
So with light code tools, you're basically combining visual programming with a bit of coding to create more powerful and custom automations.
Exactly. And the coding you need to do is often pretty simple.
Yeah.
Especially if you know some basic scripting languages like JavaScript.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to the big leagues, the coding category. This is where things get serious.
This is where you have the most customization and control.
Right.
With coding, you can build really complex automations that work with all sorts of systems, handle huge amounts of data, and perform those really sophisticated operations.
So this is where languages like Python and JavaScript Node.js come in?
Absolutely. Python is incredibly versatile and widely used for things like web scraping, data analysis, even machine learning. JavaScript Node.js is just as powerful, especially for web-based applications and building APIs.
The document also mentions the OpenAI API, which powers tools like ChatGPT. It seems like AI is becoming a big player in the automation game.
It is. With the OpenAI API, developers can integrate state-of-the-art AI capabilities right into their apps. You could automate tasks like writing text, translating languages, or even generating code.
That's amazing. So it seems like choosing the right automation tool really depends on what you need your technical skills and how complex you want things to be.
It does. If you're just starting out, no-code tools are perfect for dipping your toes into the water. As your needs grow and you get more comfortable with the technical side of things, you can explore light code or even dive headfirst into coding to unlock even more possibilities.
You know, something that really caught my attention in the document was how it kept using the term NPC, which stands for non-player character in video games.
Oh, yeah.
It's Pretty interesting analogy.
It is. The document seems to be saying that by using automation, you're breaking free from those pre-programmed routines
Yeah.
and becoming the main character in your own work life.
Instead of being just another cog in the machine, you're in control of your workflow and shaping your own path.
Exactly. It's about going from passively doing things to actively creating.
Right?
Instead of just following instructions, you're designing your own systems and processes to reach your goals.
That's a powerful way to think about it.
Hmm.
But wouldn't automating everything make work less engaging in the long run?
That's a good point. It's all about balance. The goal of automation shouldn't be to eliminate humans from the equation,
Right.
but to free us from those boring, repetitive tasks
Yeah.
so we can focus on the things that need creativity, critical thinking, and human connection.
So it's about enhancing our abilities, not replacing them.
Exactly. Automation should empower us to work smarter, not harder, and to focus on what truly brings us fulfillment and makes a real difference.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm curious to hear what you think is the first task someone should automate to start seeing those benefits.
It's tough to say. It really depends on how you work and what bugs you the most. But a good place to start is to look for things you do over and over that take up time and don't need much creativity.
Like that data entry stuff we were talking about. I know that would be first on my list.
Exactly. Think about things you do daily or weekly where you're like, man, I wish I could just get someone else to do this. Those are perfect for automation.
And the cool thing is with all these different tools, there's probably a solution out there that fits your needs and your tech skills.
Yeah,
Whether it's something easy like setting up email filters or something more complex like automating social media posts, you can start small and go from there.
totally agree. You don't have to automate everything at once. Pick one task that's been annoying you and see which tools can help you streamline it. You might be surprised how much time and energy you get back with a little effort.
All right, so as we wrap up this deep dive into automation, I want to leave you with this. What if you could get back an hour, 2 hours, maybe even half a day each week by automating those tedious tasks? What would you do with that time?
Would you focus on building those relationships with clients?
Right?
Would you finally get to that passion project you've been putting off? Would you just take a break and recharge so you can come back feeling your best?
The possibilities are really exciting. And the key takeaway here is that automation isn't just about efficiency. It's about empowerment.
Absolutely.
It's about taking control of your workflow, freeing up your time and energy, and basically designing a work life that matches your values and goals.
So go for it, explore the tools, and don't be afraid to play around. The world of automation is always changing. There's always something new to learn.
And who knows, maybe you'll break free from the matrix and become the main character in your own work life.
I like that. That's a great way to put it. So get out there and automate your way to a more fulfilling and productive work life.